Hi Virgo, this is your Christmas Celtic cross. So you are mutable earth, flexible earth sign. We are going to use we're going to try to stick to the traditional Rider-Waite deck and only use other decks if I see the Queen of Pence there and the Ace of Wands. Anyway, and only use, Nine of Pence is what I saw, and the Ace of Wands. Anyway, you might be single and doing really, really well. So we're going to use the other decks, just only to clarify if necessary, okay? 5, I'm thinking 5 piles. Okay, 1. Okay, an accurate Celtic cross for mutable earth, please. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This one is calling out. All right, Virgo. Check and see what's on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So there's some Scorpio energy coming in there. We've got the Knight of Cups. This is a very romantic, artistic, well-poised knight. This person is not married. None of the knights are married. He's not that active, but he is very romantic, very artistic. He can adapt to a lot of different love styles. It's mainly, though, that there's a love message coming in. You'll see from his helmet, there are little wings there. Those are supposed to be the wings of Hermes, So there's a message coming in. It's definitely a love message, okay? That's what I see there. Okay, a romantic one. And it might be artistic, so, get ready. Okay, so, so we got to lay out the cards right now. Then I'm going to quickly turn them over and do okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to turn over oh, wow. Okay, let's see how fast we can get this done. This is going to be interesting. Okay. So this is a really fascinating spread. So it looks like the issue. So we have the card of Temperance there. So it's Sagittarius energy. But I just want you to look at the very concentrated look on her face and how carefully she's mixing and modifying and combining. And I want you to look at her feet, how one is in the water and the other is on the ground. So this person, she works very hard. She has a very hard job. She is, they call it, people immediately use the word patience when they look at this card, but she's also the ultimate alchemist. She is combining 2 totally different substances. She's modifying. She's very good at this. She's good at what she does. She's using her spirituality and her practical knowledge to do this, and she always succeeds. So, I don't know, on a mundane level, you could be baking, you could be doing Christmas baking. When I looked at this card the other day and I was thinking about Christmas, I thought about somebody who was arranging the seating, maybe at a family dinner to make sure that 2 family members who didn't get along were not seated next to each other so as not to cause an explosion. This card could be something as mundane as that right now, or it could be something like you trying to make a relationship work where you and the other person are really, really different. But there's still that connection between you two. Anyway, now the challenge, this is a really fascinating card. Is the 5 of Swords. So this is a stage card. And what I mean by that is, do you see that gray platform there that the guy who stole all the swords, the greedy thief there who cheated everybody. Why is it a stage card? Because look at the smirk on his face. He thinks he won. It's probably terrible what he did. Look at the man way in the background. He's probably sobbing. He looks like he's crying. The other guy's just walking away, giving up. And also, there's only 3 of them. And there's 5 swords. He already had 2. Why did he have to take the other 2 swords? So I'm just going to break the tape for a second. So Virgo, I don't see you as being the greedy person here who did the stealing. And also, there's a theme here of this person being impetuous and acting without thinking, and frankly being unethical. So you might have been the victim of an unethical battle or an unethical fight, or some really demeaning gossip that wasn't fair. It's not fair. And it's a stage card because the grin on the guy's face, he thinks that he's won, but he hasn't. Karma's going to get him. He's got it coming to him. What's interesting now that the Knight of Swords is not in your spread. But what's interesting is if you look at the sky in the 5 of Swords and compare it to the sky that's in the background of the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is not a stage card, but the Knight of Swords can be very, very self-absorbed, and he acts without thinking at all. Generally his intentions usually are good. Like there's a little hidden heart on the reins of the horse to tip us off that he started out meaning well, but he just acted way too quickly. He can be violent. So the sky, that card isn't here, but the point is that person is very self-absorbed and self-serving. They're, not thinking before they act. Here's the exact same sky on a stage card, and just look at the smirk on that guy's face. So I think probably somebody did this to you, and your challenge is just forget about it. Okay, just write this person off. Karma will get them. Okay. Now, crowning you, okay, is the Devil card. Okay. Because of the surrounding cards that I'm looking at, I highly doubt this is overindulging or addictions. And also, it's sort of the highest that you can attain here. I'm seeing that as a Capricorn or someone that, a soulmate, someone that you were meant to do some soulmate work in this physical existence. I'm not seeing the bad side of this card there. Or you could want to get beyond what your 5 senses are telling you about somebody. You want to get beyond the glitter. I'm not sure what that means, but I think we'll be able to piece it together when we look at the other cards. A little break in the tape now, Virgo. Okay, this next card is interesting. So the tools that you're bringing in, I see the Page of Pentacles there. Now, all pages usually are messages, okay? The Page of Pentacles, has some Capricorn energy, so generally it's associated with a message about something tangible, material, related to commerce, business, education. And usually the Page of Pentacles is you bringing the message. So you may have some kind of an offer. It's not a substantial offer, but you may be making an offer to someone through the form of a message. I'm not sure. It's usually a project in its very early stages. You can tell there because it's a page. And if you look really closely at the way the page is holding the pentacle, it's almost like, oh, okay, here it is, okay, so this is the pentacle. It's almost like he doesn't know how to hold the pentacle yet, and he's sort of in awe of it. But I see this right here, looking at this as an offer coming from you. It might be related to business. It could be related to love. Sometimes it's related to pregnancy. So you could be telling someone you're pregnant. I don't know. Anyway, you'll be able to piece this together as we go through. So in your recent past is the 7 of Wands. So generally, this is you sticking to your guns about something. It was a position you were defending your position, okay? Because you felt very passionate about it to the point where it was very important to you to defend it. You did successfully defend it and ward off all the naysayers. It probably stressed you out a little bit. It was so important to you. I was pointing this out the other day to somebody. You'll notice that his footwear is different. It's almost like, when you're doing something really important, you just grab any coat and run out the door because the thing that you're doing is so important that you don't care about what you're wearing. Well, this person is so passionate about their position, they don't care about what they look like or about the material. Also, you'll notice that these so-called naysayers, the 6 naysayers, are actually faceless, okay? So, the other point of this card is that you could be feeling like you have to defend your position when really there are no naysayers, or people really aren't in disagreement with you. Anyway, that's in the past, okay? Just going to pause the tape for a second. Okay, Virgo, I got to stop and say something right here about what I'm sensing. Not just from this reading, but I'm looking at this reading and then I'm thinking about the past 2 or 3 readings that you've had. I'm sensing that people are a little bit jealous of whatever you're doing because what you're doing is working. What I mean is I think you're doing some kind of manifesting, maybe some sound meditation or something, or you're doing something magician-y, okay? In other words, you're doing something, I'm thinking about sound meditation or some kind of meditation where, that is geared towards physically manifesting just with your mind, right? Because what I'm sensing from this spread is that you're doing really well and that other people are jealous. That's what I'm getting. I'm seeing you having had to defend your position. You're in such a good situation. You have offers to make to others. You've got someone coming in now in the near future, and this is good that you're getting a heads up on this. I see the Page of Swords here, okay? He looks like he's ready to strike at you, at everything. Now the Page of Swords, I think, is vulnerable. Okay, I think they're kind of like, I would think of whatever their swords they have swung your way, are going to think of them as little wooden toothpicks, But this person can cause trouble. They're interested in what you're doing, okay? And they're also very intellectually curious. So there's somebody who's really curious, interested, probably spying on you a little bit. And I'm sensing jealousy. The emotional, this person is getting a little, it's supposed to be all thoughts, but do you see the birds in the sky there and how they form a fish, okay, or something aquatic? And the symbolism there is meant to say to us that our thoughts and our emotions really are sort of inextricably connected. This person is jealous, okay, and they're either spying on you or they're going to try some little weak attack. It's not going to work. I see the Page of Swords as being a vulnerable person. But just to have a heads up about that someone is very jealous. There could be internet stalking you as well. I don't mean like dangerous stalking, but just curious about you. I'm going to pause the tape for 1 sec. Okay, so yeah, and I mean the energy that you're bringing in is 3 of Cups energy, so it's a celebratory energy. I see that as sort of a gathering to celebrate something. I don't see that as you overindulging or anything. And I think it has something to do with family, happiness and family, because the card in the outside influences position. So these are forces that are acting upon the situation without you having to do anything, is the 10 of Cups. So, look how there's just a feeling of total happiness, home unity there. The Temperance card was there combining, and the Ten of Cups. There's sometimes the Ten of Cups means the combining of you and your children with another person and their children, making a family come together. That could be something. It doesn't have to be, though. It's just total happiness and unity, family unity. Okay, now, this is fascinating. You must tell me what this means to you. In your hopes and fears, so this is definitely your fear, is the Five of Cups, which I find to be an absolutely fascinating card. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the person feels bad about spilling those 3 cups. Why can't they turn around and pick up the 2 cups and go over the archway in the background into the castle? I don't think that's what it means, okay? Okay, so first of all, I see it's important, I think, now this is just me, okay? I have not read any authority for this, but when I look at this card, however, just a minute, I do believe there was a quote from Arthur Edward Waite about this card, and it was something about hindsight and foresight, and that in order to have wisdom in the foresight, you need to have a thorough grasp of hindsight, of what's happened in the past. And that's why I'd like you to consider my interpretation of the card. I'm just going to pause and take for a second. So for some reason, when I look at this card, I see, like people always say, why doesn't he turn around and see the 2 cups behind him? I think he knows darn well that they're there. I think he knows darn well that he could have taken those 2 cups. And of course, the other cup is for somebody, right? He could have gone over that archway. He could have gone into the castle. He knows that's there. He knows that that's the part that he screwed up. Because there's 3 cups in front of him. There's wine coming out of it. The 3 of cups is associated with third-party situations, with partying, drinking, overindulging, and it's the way I see it is he knows darn well that what he should have done was was taking the 2 cups and lived happily ever after with somebody. I think he knows darn well what's behind him. He knows those 2 cups are there. But look, there's no authority for that interpretation, so it's just something to consider. The other message to this card, I think, is what's wrong with looking back and assessing what you did wrong so that you won't do it in the future. Why can't we just freeze this in time and let him suffer? It's important to look back and decide that you're not going to repeat the same mistake. Anyway, most people don't agree with that. Most people say, look, the message of the card is don't cry over spilt milk. Don't stand there for too long. Turn around and pick up the 2 cups. But I don't see it that way. Anyway, so it could, the other meaning of this card is somebody feels very guilty that they screwed things up for you. So you might be worried, if this is your fear, you might be worried that you screwed something up. Well, I wouldn't worry for long because of what's in the outcome card. Virgo, this is crazy. You know that one of your major, obviously the Hermit is your main major arcana card, but the other one is the Magician. So that showed up as your outcome. That's why I think you guys have been doing some kind of meditation, something, whatever you're doing. You're pulling the Magician, okay? Obviously, I talk about this all the time. The Magician, I'll just pause the tape for 1 sec. if you've listened to my readings before, this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but I'm just going to go over it very quickly. So, the Magician card tells us that it's all very well that you have all these practical tools out. You have a cup, you have a pentacle, you have a sword, you have a wand. It's all there. You have all the tools. You're not missing any tools. So yeah, you could probably create a lot with that. But why is it that there is no limit? See the infinity sign? Why is it that there is no limit to what the Magician can bring into physical existence? Because he uses that thing, whatever you guys are doing. I think you're doing sound meditation or something. How all of these experts now on sound meditation, they say that it really early in the morning, using the sound of awe, is the sound of creation, and at the same time you're supposed to visualize what it is that you'd like to have physically manifest. You do this very early in the morning. This is the kind of thing that the Magician does. And of course, the idea is that your thoughts have a direct impact on physical reality. Physicists even say that. Actually, we know that physicists who use particle accelerators, when they were looking at what the smallest particle that exists is, what they came up with was that it's a probability amplitude. And it blinks into existence only when observed by us. So what more proof do you have? And this is science, okay? So what more proof do you need that your thoughts have an impact on our physical surroundings? Well, the Magician knows this, okay? He just somehow knows this. So his pointing up there, as in the idea is formed in your head as above, and the other hand is very deliberately pointing to the ground, which symbolizes, see how that hand is pointing to the ground, the other hand is up, symbolizing the physical manifestation of the idea coming from the heavens, Wow. Let me know what it is that you're doing, because whatever it is, it's working. And this has come up in your past, 4 readings. You've been doing this. So just keep it going, Virgo. That was an amazing read. And Merry Christmas. Okay? Peace. Peace on earth.